Um, I think it starts with policy. Where are we as a country, or who are we as a people? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, going from there, you have to look at the technologies that are available. Countries, look at the priorities. Let's start with the priorities of the countries. What do countries want? I know Germany, Austria, and Sweden, and some of the Nordic countries, they are very, very much interested in energy conservation and heating, cooling, in all that aspect. How do they reduce the costs of either heating or cooling, and at the same time achieve the same outputs of heating and cooling? With that, these countries, they come up with policies. The policy is like a guiding path. They say, we must do it. If we don't do it, we may have a problem later. Some of the policies centered around geopolitics, economics, back and forth. When you have a policy in place and it is well explained to the people, you might not score 100% acceptance in the first 10 to 15 years, but you will be able to get a reasonable margin that will lead the implementation of that particular technology or innovation. And that is where you start from. I can give examples of some countries where they know that fossil fuel is very expensive to buy. They know getting gas is also very expensive to buy. It's becoming more and more of a political might of some countries that are producing this. But at the same time, the policies and the people or the policymakers, they have other interests that plays into it. So who is running it, who will get it, whose company is implementing it, and which region it will be implemented. I think, personally, that the implementation goes a long way. It goes with constant repetition of the return of investment over time, the costs, and the incentives that governments are ready to give when you take a particular or employ a particular technology, either in heating, in generating power, or in facilitating your processes. With incentives and the right information package, I think we'll go a long way. Changing the minds of people takes a long time. It's not like this. In my little experience in the industrial sector, I've come to understand that you need to repeat these things like crazy. You just, every day, just go on the radio. You might win one person. So it is not about the geometric progression, but rather the arithmetic progression of 1 today, 2 tomorrow, 3 the next day. I think that way, over a period of time, let's say 10, 15 years from now, we'll have a portion of people who believe in solar energy and decide to go with the energy mix, solar, wind, solar, hydro, and the rest of it. Just last year, in my apartment, we decided to change our energy provider from one we think that is using or buying gas from a country which is not really doing very well politically. We decided to switch our energy provider to an hydro provider here in Austria that we know it is clean on the one hand, and at the same time is not playing power into some people's hands. So there are a whole lot of envelopes that needs to be opened, carefully analyzed, and sold to the public in a more transparent way. Thank you.
Thank you, Gavin. So, gentlemen.
Yeah, I have two questions. One is for you, Your Excellency. I'm looking at it not from Kenya perspective, now from Africa as a whole. First of all, let me congratulate you that it's even a constitutional thing in Kenya that we have to have access to clean environment and stuff like that, environmental something. But then, do you think the African leaders are doing enough in this facing this challenge? Because we talked about poverty, I would say like poverty, and as well as lack of education. If somebody thinks it's cheaper to buy a second-hand television or a refrigerator from Europe to use back home, first, it's not cheap because they believe they pay less, but this consume more energy than the new ones. The new ones use next to nothing energy consumption, but this old one, when you plug it, you see the meter running very fast. So if they are well educated, they will know that they are not even, it's not even cheaper, it's even more expensive. That is one. Secondly, even they don't have the idea of how to recycle this, like my brother said, that they have to teach them how to recycle this thing, so that not you buy a big TV, after using it, you drop it somewhere else, it's emitting or polluting the environment. So do you think our leaders are doing enough? And the second question is for my cultural experts, investors. You are talking about this networking within farmers in Liberia. Do you think we can extend this thing also to be within farmers within all of Africa? For example, Nigeria is the largest producer of cassava. Okay, most farmers deal only with the tuber alone to make garri or sort of things like that, and they trade with the leaves or feed, give it as feed to animals and stuff like that. But in some other countries, they even need this cassava leaf. I know in Congo, for example, they even feed. The human eats even this cassava leaf, and then it's wasting, rotting in Nigeria there, and they don't have enough there. Don't you think we should extend it, and is it going to be very easy to do? Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question. My candid answer on that, I believe that African leaders are not doing enough, and I think there's much more that can be done. One way is creating awareness, and two, the policies that we have. Unfortunately, in the 80s, we had a lot of pressure from the West, and we embraced a liberalization policy. And this liberalization policy gave way to dumping of cheap and second-hand items in Africa generally. And I think that was because of pressure from some of the industrialized countries. But as I say, yes, there's need to do more. Some governments in Africa are trying, and in Kenya in particular, we are moving even in terms of embracing policies that, for instance, recently we have been having a lot of second-hand goods coming into Kenya, but we are trying to adopt a free economic zone where products that are produced for AGOA is in cooperation with America, where we export new clothes. They are made in Kenya and exported. Some agreement we have with them. So we are trying to create that situation where people can actually buy new clothes, for instance. But I think we need to prevent the dumping of old and obsolete technology in Africa. Thank you.
I go straight to your question. We encourage what we call value chain in commercial agriculture. What we are trying to do is to meet the needs of the consumers. Talking about consumer needs and satisfaction. It's true. It is possible to extend this technology. Very, very good. Because the Liberians, for example, their favorite food is cassava leaf. They make cassava soup. If you go to Liberia and you don't eat cassava, you will survive there. When Nigerians goes there, they will tell them cassava leaf used in feeding goats. Goats. Yes. Goats tell them. They will tell you who are stupid because cassava is the favorite food there. That's number one. So this is possible. So what we did there, and what we are still doing, is to have these farmers as partners in agribusiness. Those ones that are eating cassava leaf, we get cassava leaf, for the producers are not eating cassava leaves. Yeah? What else we do? Cassava peels, when peeled out of cassava, is a source of fertilizer and feeds for the animals. Because they produce cassava in large quantity, they just peel it, make garri, throw away the peels. So we now ask them to sell the peels to the farmers who are rearing animals. That's number one. So another one we also do is that we try to encourage farmers to just stop production. Don't do production. Your job is to market. We created what we call chicken village. Chicken village is a village where they rear chicken, the country chicken. So every household, they have country chickens in their backyard. So we found out that the chicken are being reared and satisfied their needs there. What we did was to create a market in Monrovia with government policy to encourage this village just to produce chicken. So a chicken can hatch 21 days, about 30 chicken. They are very viable chicken there. So what they are trying to do is to stop importation of frozen chicken from China. And through this technology that I'm talking about, it's functioning. So we have platforms now, even WhatsApp. Check it, there are all platforms that can tell you, in this village, I can buy my chicken. So we have a group of people doing it. So I am also appealing to African farmers to join themselves together and expand themselves and see what I'm producing and what you need, what you like, what you want to have. I send it to you. You give me what you're producing. Now we have fish ponds. We have fish ponds. The cost of producing fish in Africa is very high because of the feed. So what we did was to encourage the rice farmers to produce more rice. Then we beat this rice, we did this rice husk with some particles of rice there and sell it, which they normally throw away, and sell it to the fish, farmers to feed their feet. One of the systems we're using. Coming back also to technology, we have the tilapia fish, we have the catfish. The catfish farmers, how do they feed their catfish? So we have this blue light, electric light, that we also got from Australia. That company did it. So we put the blue light on top of the pond. They have a lot of mosquitoes in that area. This blue light attracts the mosquito. Yeah? So we are trying to eradicate mosquito in that village. So the blue light will attract the mosquito and it will fall into the water. What happens to the mosquito? The fish feeds on them. Good. So these are small things that we try to do and it is functioning very well. It's very functioning. So the connection between the farmers is going very rapidly. Small scale technology is moving. I'm sorry to say that, I am not a supporter of large scale development at the moment.
In Liberia.
You see, you just said it. You said it step by step. You take time to tell the people how it can change. You cannot change people within 1 year, within 2 years. So they have to be involved in the system. So not in Liberia, now in Africa. I'm telling you, because we need to change our system of thinking. We need value chain analysis. We need to analyze what we are producing. If we don't do that, we will end up importing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, I've got your hand, the gentleman there at the back, you, and then you, and then I'll come to you again. Please. Sorry, the gentleman behind, very much at the back.
Yeah, what we're doing today is also in line with that. We have a lot of experts here. They are not all Nigerians alone because we have the ambassador of Kenya and other countries as well. But we are trying to see how we can gather expertise and a lot of knowledge that we can transfer back home that will help in the nation building. So I'm happy to have you all here today, and I'm sure by the time we leave here today, we will have more knowledge of what's diasporans' job is about, what they have to do to make their country great. And I thank you all once again and welcome everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the warm opening. Wow.
My name is Marco Bumumi. My name is everywhere, smartphone, everything. And I'm happy that Festus has answered a bit of the question without even hearing the question. But however, even regarding agriculture, or whatever, I think you understand what I was trying to say, is you don't have to go on a large scale. I was going to talk of why didn't you introduce alongside the so-called smart connections, why didn't you implement something like the agri-union, even if it's going to be a small scale, which I think is even more, will be more effective, or a kind of cooperation as we used to know those days, so that you group cassava farmers, even if only they are just a handful, you group them together so that they can, share knowledge and improve their production. So my question is, what are you doing in this direction? Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, can you hold your thoughts? I think it would be good for us to collect 2 more questions. So we'll have 3 at once. So then the gentleman in the white.
Okay.
Please
Okay.
introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Muso. My question is for Jonathan. Okay. In Nigeria, where I come from, currently the people, they've given up on the government because in terms of power. A population of about 190 million, and we are having just about highest 500 megawatts of power, 5,000 megawatts of power. Imagine. So in a day, you should be having power maybe 1 hour, 2 hours. So presently in Nigeria, we produce, people are now kind of independent, producing their own power using generators. And the problem with the generator is that it's harmful. We've had instances where some people were in the room and they left the generator on, and the next day they were all dead because of the emission. So what I'm saying is, now, how durable is this windmill? And what is the lifespan of this windmill, and what is the maintenance cost for this windmill? Though currently I have a project which I'm handling in Nigeria, but the problem with it is that it's so expensive. It's a product with solar, but the government is not ready to help, and individual cannot purchase it because it's so expensive. So I believe that this pure self-made is a very nice product which I believe can help Africa, especially individuals. So if we can get how durable and what's the lifespan and what is the maintenance cost of this particular product. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I please ask you to keep your questions short? Very nice question, by the way. And I'll take the 3rd question.
Sorry.
Yes.
I want to come back to the sugar cane company. So the question is, what was the motivation for this company to protect the environment? Yeah, so this was a very interesting example, but the question is, why are they doing this? Yeah? So do they get some governmental incentives, or is it really for profit for them to protect the environment?
So that's a very good question. This is exactly why the USAID sent me to Liberia to motivate the farmers there on how to work in cooperative bodies. We have the rice cooperative body, we have the groundnut cooperative body, where the peanut butter they buy in the market in Monrovia. This peanut butter is being bottled in New Jersey, but the groundnut production is in Liberia. So, and a peanut bottle is costing up to about $15 US. The Liberia cannot afford that. That's how it started. Good. What do? We try to encourage the rice farmers, the groundnut farmers, to have a cooperative body. So now we are trying to encourage rice, country rice, because to stop the importation of rice from India or China. We won't go into trade-off now, because if I go to trade-off, we'll stay at it until tomorrow.
Please don't.
No. So I don't care how China or India are bringing their rice to Liberia, but what I care about is how to make that Liberia produce their rice themselves without depending on them. So we have cooperative bodies. We try to encourage country rice, which is brown rice, and I bet you, with the connection we have with the farmers, the bodies, the unions, they are really working together and working hard to encourage the consumption of country rice. As an example. So there are so many areas of agribusiness situation which we are doing. Here in Vienna, 2011, I was the first person to establish aquaponics in Simmering. So this aquaponics is a technology where I use the fish water, which I normally throw away, that contains ammonia, to produce tomatoes or vegetables. How? The ammonia is being broken down by two bacteria in the tomatoes roots. Nitrosomal, nitrobacter. Then this water will be sent back again to the fish pond. It's recycling. 1, we save water. 2, it is biological. 3, you can produce aquaponics in this room here. So it's a small-scale development, which we established there in Liberia, Cotiton, which is working very well. Here in Vienna, in Simmering, I had it there for Liberia. So it's a thing that we are trying to encourage the small farmers to do in their backyard. It's a very simple system. Yeah, so the fish water that we normally throw away in Nigeria and Africa is now being sucked into the growing bed, and the bacteria will now dissolve the ammonia and use the nitrate. The nitrate residues will go back to the water again, it circulates. Now talk about the energy. How do we do the energy? We have the solar technique, which is really functioning very well. So you see, the connection of the farmers getting information is getting rapid in Liberia every day. People are getting interested, people are coming. So if not Rita, I would have been away last Sunday. She said, please stay for today. So I'll be flying back on Sunday to continue my lectures in the best of Liberia.
Thank you. Now the next question was for Jonathan, wasn't it?
Yeah. Thank you. So it was about how durable the wind turbine is when I install it somewhere. So also this depends on many things. First, you need a site that is has a steady stream of wind and not too much turbulence in the air, and it needs to be well installed by someone who knows how to do it. And once all these factors are taken into account, then the wind turbine can last up to 20 years or something like this, which is really high for such a low-cost device. And because of the manufacturing process, because this is done by a group of students or people in a course, the wind turbine is very cheap in the production. And I don't think there is something that some other product on the market, some commercial product you could buy for the same price with the same outputs and quality. I also want to say that the design that I'm using for the wind turbines in my courses, it's not purely developed by myself. It's an open source design developed by a guy from Scotland. He's using this for 30 years now, and he has also developed it further and further over the years. And it's not completely open source, but he gives away the license for people to use for projects like this. And it's designed in a way that people can use it and build it themselves, basically, with not very high qualification. So it's pretty simple, and also there's not much that can go wrong. And when you talk about the duration of how long it works, basically, it's important to say that you need about one session of maintenance every year, where you take it down and make sure that everything is running correctly. And also it needs about, let's say, half an hour or 20 minutes every month for very little maintenance jobs to do on the machine. Does this answer your questions?
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. The name of this company is called Okto Sugar. You can search on it on the internet. The interesting thing about this company is that they knew that to survive in the business of sugar production, you need to have constant supply of sugar canes. And in this region, in Kakamega, Your Excellency? Yes. Did I get it correctly?
Yeah, Kakamega.
Yeah, in Kakamega County, in this region, you have a very, very even spread of rainfall. The soil is suitable for sugarcane production. But in the last 15 years, this company, or the production of sugar as a whole in Kenya, has been dropping due to soil nutrients on one hand, due to rainfall and other climate change impacts. So the company knew that for us to stay in business, make more money, we need to support the farmers, or we need to do things in both ways to achieve what they call, what you might also know as the triple bottom line. So they have to sustain the environment, make sure they ensure some social, sustain some social structures. I'm talking about the farmers, well-being of the farmers, and at the same time make money. So what they have to do, they generate a lot of bagasse. The bagasse is a problem for them. For them to make more money, they have to get rid of the bagasse. Getting rid of the bagasse, they have to adopt some conventional technology that should convert the bagasse into biochar. That is the combustion of the bagasse in the absence of air, to produce high biochar that will serve as manure for the farmers at their plants. They also know that in that region, the percentage of felling of trees spiked because population was increasing, so the need for firewood and heat at night, because it's high. It's about you're talking about 1,900 meters above sea level in this region. So it's pretty cold at night. So the communities or the farmers, they need wood. They need energy, any form of energy to create heat for their families. So they were felling their trees at a very high rate. The more trees that were being felled in this area, the reduction of rainfall, meaning it's coming down on their production. So they know that for us to stay, we need to support the farmers and support us. So they went, they're driving, I think their driving force was the environmental consideration. They need to sustain the production of sugarcane to stay in business. In doing that, they have to support backward, either in protecting the forest by briquetting and giving the farmers, once you supply them sugarcane, they have a percentage, a kilogram of briquettes they would want to give to you so that you don't have to cut the trees to sustain the rain and increase the production of cane. Again, is on the economic side. So they want to make more money. And what economy, for them to tackle carbon and ensuring that the carbon footprints are in line with the international agro standards. I mean, there are some global emission standards that should be reduced at some certain point in time. This is also a big discussion, but it's bigger than what we are having here. For them to do that, they must have the right policy in place, and this policy goes in 3 circles. So you have to put the government has to say this is what we want to achieve in order to create some kind of sustainable, protect our environment. The people have to be put into consideration. I mean, the communities where industries operate, and also the manufacturers or the industrialists. They have to say, okay, we want to cut down our carbon footprints, but at the same time we want to maintain profits. That is not an easy task. To achieving that, you have to lay the carpet really wide and long. I believe I would want to reserve that other, how
that will be unveiled and how that will be achieved. But the most important point in my opening is that, yes, there is a need to ensure what we call cleaner production, whether in the extractive, in the primary or secondary industries, and this has to be done like yesterday.
Yeah.
So we are running a day late in our carbon emissions, in meeting the targets of our carbon emissions. We are running a day late in using the right technology and approach. We are running a day late with the right policies and incentives that should guide us in doing this. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your elaborate answer. We heard a lot about industrialization. Africa is a continent that has the perception that it doesn't manufacture. But actually, Africa manufactures more goods than India does. You know, it's quite easy to compare them simply because of the size of the population. So the purpose also of this discussion is to also blur some of the myths and talk more about the opportunities that the continent can present. Talking about industrialization, there is a strong link as well to environmental risks, such as countries like Kenya, Nigeria, or South Africa that tend to produce and manufacture a lot. Now, my question comes now to Festus Imadiaga. You've had the experience lecturing at a university in Liberia, and I would like you to share what opportunities there are for Austrian entrepreneurs or companies to leverage on their environmental technology in Liberia.
Good evening. I'm so blessed to be here, honestly. And I'm sorry I have some cold, so maybe my voice will not be very, very clean for me to hear. You see, I love to talk on practical aspects of entrepreneurship. Down there in Liberia, I'm in Nigeria, I'm born in Nigeria, but I left Liberia to lecture for 2 years. The tendency of in Liberia is very hard. It's very, very hard. And the markets we have here in Europe is saturated. The market we have in Africa is not yet saturated. So the opportunity we have actually is how to motivate or monitor our markets to enhance the establishment of young entrepreneurs. Very short example. If you go to here in North Austria, you see what called wine vehicle. You see, oaks vehicle, yeah? You see, Austria in real sense, they don't have minerals, they don't have it to shoot, but they have technology to enhance small-scale entrepreneurship. Yeah. You see, young farmers. You see, the way they present their wine, it's amazing to encourage young entrepreneurship. We Africans, we Liberians, we have the opportunity to develop in the area of agriculture in the US.
And my question to you, I'll just take the second microphone. My question to you was, how can the entrepreneurs here find opportunities? What opportunities are there for them in a place such as Liberia to assist in boosting the ecological environment?
Sure. We have so many NGOs in Liberia, a lot of NGOs. And most of them, unfortunately, most of them are from the American society. And there are areas like rice production.
Rice production.
We have the harvest tomatoes here in the scenery. We are encouraged from Liberia. So Harriet is really interested in coming to Liberia. At the moment, we have the ATC bond. Bond is a state in Liberia. We have the Vina Canal is an entrepreneur in Vienna. Now has established ATC Bomb in Liberia, where he is educating the local farmers on how to install plumbing work.
May I just interrupt you very quickly? Welcome, Ambassador Kitanga. If you could just take a seat, take a breather, and then we'll welcome you.
So, the Austrian entrepreneur, they have opportunity in Liberia, stronger, because Liberia went to 14 years of war, then about 4 years of Ebola, so they are just down. Whatever they have in Liberia, they are imported goods. So if the Austrians are really bold enough to leave their society,
thank you very much for that. Right, I will just allow Ambassador Kitanga to take a breather while I'll actually focus on our panelist that is sitting very much at the far end, Jonathan Schreiber. Jonathan has, since the age of 13, built windmills. But not windmills that you just play with, windmills that actually power energy. And he's actually owned that expertise and decided to also coach DIY enthusiasts and also the youths in how to build these windmills and teach them to be also a bit more self-sustainable. I believe this is also a way to penetrate the African market, because really what Africa needs is skills development and capacity building, and also allow the population to be self-sufficient. And windmill is a form of energy that is off the grid. So my question to you actually is, what, as an entrepreneur, what challenges do you face considering which field you are in? Because I do understand that being in the field of renewable energy can be very challenging, simply because in the developed world there is low demand and there's more of a higher demand in more of the developing countries, if I may so to speak. Or perhaps I'm wrong. Can you correct me?
Thank you. So, first of all, I'm not directly an expert in African markets, but I have experience in Europe with my work, and I think that there is a demand in Africa in the field I work in. It's wind energy in my situation, or let's say renewable energy in general. But my approach, as Rita said, is not to sell a product, but to empower people to gain the knowledge and then to help themselves with the technology. And yeah, I believe first of all in the fact that for a real sustainable society, or something that is not just something that's lasts, let's say that way, it's not really the way for me to sell a product to someone basically and make the person a customer. For me, it's more about empowering people to be a creator and then share the knowledge with them about the technology, and so people can use it and make something themselves. So I believe if someone is just someone who's using a product, it's not really the way to empower someone. So the knowledge is important to be transferred to make it a real change, in my opinion. And now thinking about Africa, yeah, you guys know I work in a larger association as well, and I have contacts to people and connections who have already did projects with wind energy in Africa. And also my experience in this case is basically that there are several challenges compared to Europe or highly developed countries. And I think the main thing is that people have to accept the technology that you try to apply in a country. You cannot just go there and show up and tell them, look, I have a design for a wind turbine that can power your house, and you can build it yourself. And this will be, yeah, you transfer the knowledge and everything, but the people actually have to accept it. It's not just dropping the idea there and then it grows by itself. You need something like maintenance, you need a sustainable delivery model that the technology It's not just something that shows up and then it disappears because the wind turbine breaks and then no one is going to fix it, no one really knows how to fix it, for example, and then the thing disappears. So you need to really have the people interested in the thing you try to do. That's my opinion, and I think that's the main point to really do an impact, make an impact.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. I find it very honourable what you do, and I really do hope that your next station would be actually Africa. Now, Ambassador Kitonga, following on to what Jonathan described to us, I would like you to share with us what opportunities there are in Kenya for entrepreneurs that are in the field of environmental technology. We know that Kenya is the largest producer of geothermal energy, and right now Morocco is building the biggest solar power plant in the world. I believe that the productions are, well actually they're going to finish building it in year 2018, so they're also a strong contender. So would you be able to share with us what opportunities there are? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rita. First of all, I'd like to apologize for coming late. I got lost. I went to, there was another venue in the 3rd district, and hence that is why I was late. Now, basically, I think there are very many opportunities in Kenya, and some of those are enshrined, for instance, in our constitution. I would like to talk about it from a public sector perspective in terms of the opportunities that are brought about because of the laws and the legislation. You know, for instance, our new constitution recognizes clean and healthy environment as a basic human right. So really, the type of technology we are encouraging is renewable energy. I would also like to mention that there's a lot of cooperation which brings about opportunity. For instance, like last year we had the Austrian Foreign Minister, Sebastian Kurz, was in Kenya with a trade delegation and coming to identify opportunities in which way you can invest in terms of in technology that drives